Hello and welcome to The Hard Questions. My name is Daniel Lutaya. Today on the show we have the Minister of ICT and National Guidance of the Government of Uganda, the Honorable Chris Baryomunsi. Hello, Honorable.
Hello. I am very happy to be here. Thank you very much for hosting me.
All right.
Yes.
I think we'll start off with just how are we doing with regards to the government of Uganda? How is the state?
I can say we are doing fairly well. Not excellent, because we have had challenges of COVID-19. You know, we completed the last term in the middle of the pandemic, and we are still feeling the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. But by and large, we are moving on very well, and hopefully, as the COVID-19 calms down, then we should be able to fully recover and move on. But we are so far not doing badly.
Right after COVID-19, the world was hit by another crisis, which has created fuel inflation. You know,
Yes.
transport is crazy, expensive world over. And Uganda is also getting very hard hit. And today, I've actually read, the CBR has been increased again to 10%. This is going to make it very difficult to do business in Uganda.
Actually, the major issues that have hit us post-election, as we started this new term, were COVID-19 and its effects and the containment measures which the world applied, particularly lockdowns, which slowed down businesses and put the world at a standstill, and then also the war between Russia and Ukraine. Those two combined, plus some other factors, have affected the global economy. We have seen inflation in the last number of months, where the prices for the common commodities went up, and of course even fuel has not been spared. For fuel, there is even an additional reason that there was a conference in Scotland where it was agreed that the world should move away from fossil fuels, from diesel, from petrol, to electric cars. And that has also disrupted the oil industry globally. So a combination of those factors have really shaken the world. But as a government, we have put in place mitigation measures, which we hope should be able to cushion all these effects, and then Uganda, we should be able to survive amidst all this.
We've talked about oil, and you've clearly stated that the world is moving away from the oil economy. But we are a country that is gearing up to start oil production while the world is moving away. Where are we going to sell this oil?
Well, first of all, it is not immediate. I think the resolution taken in Scotland was like saying maybe we move away by 2040 or thereabout. So meaning we still have a number of years. But also, petroleum and oil is not only used for transportation resources. There are other uses and other products which come out of petroleum, the plastics. There's a huge petrochemical industry. So petroleum and oil is still relevant, even if we move away from diesel-fueled vehicles. So the oil industry has to continue, and we shall still be able to reap money and profit from our resource which we have.
In order to reap that resource, we have to construct a pipeline. It looks like the parliament that has control over one of the shareholders, the French company Total, which has over 60% shares in the pipeline, has called for a halt.
We are, first of all, using a combination of strategies. One, we are building a refinery so that we can process the oil locally here, and we have finished products. But also, we are going to construct a pipeline from Bunyoro to Tanga in Tanzania, so that part of the oil can be taken out as crude oil.
A motion for resolution on violations of human rights in Uganda and Tanzania linked to the investments in fossil fuel projects.
Yes, there have been these debates in the European Union Parliament, but I think this is merely politics. I don't think the European Union members of Parliament are informed of what is going on in Uganda.
They resolved for Uganda to halt production for 1 year until they've sorted out those issues.
But they resolved as who?
Are we going to hold for that 1 year?
First of all the social, environmental, and human rights concerns they are raising have been adequately catered for and addressed. And there are reports to show evidence that all these issues have been handled. But the reasoning which they are raising is not based on facts. When, for instance, you say people have not been compensated, and yet they are being compensated. When you start saying that the pipeline passes through many rivers, which you don't name, for us who live in Uganda, we don't see these rivers. So it is more of politicking than the European Union Parliament making a technical assessment. Most of those European MPs have never set foot in Africa. They debate from a point of ignorance. And therefore, we dismiss their resolution and we shall not listen to it. The program will go on, even if they intimidate Total Energies to withdraw, being a French company, a European company, we shall still be able to get our partners and move on.
How, Honorable Chris? Because the Ugandans, everybody is wondering, what next if Total pulls out? They have 60% shares. How do we produce this oil without them?
Yeah, but wherever oil is produced, it's not the Total which partners with the governments. There are many other partners who are ready and willing. It's so that this time we had reached a conclusion with Total Energies, but should it withdraw, there are others on the line.
Have you as a government maybe analyzed these allegations by the concerns of the European Union?
First of all, they have not even officially written to us as government. We also just read these on the internet and social media. Because you can't claim that you are a European MP and you are more concerned about the rights and the interests of somebody in Bunyoro more than us who represent them, more than the MPs who represent Bunyoro in the Parliament of Uganda. And therefore, we really look at their resolution with a lot of contempt.
There's been, concerns raised that Uganda wants to mine the oil at all costs, even if these costs are human rights, environmental costs, and otherwise.
First of all, we have not discovered this oil today. For the last many years, we've been processing. Otherwise, have you seen any people from the oil region petitioning and demonstrating against the government here? How come that the Europeans...
Maybe they have not been allowed, like the ones who are here at the European Union headquarters with Stop Eco Posters.
But we have members of parliament representing that region. Why have they not raised the concern in the parliament?
But will they be allowed to protest? Will they be allowed to protest?
But this is just the work of political activists and civil society activists who use some of these reports just to raise money from the international community. But on this one, we are very firm that we are on the right track. There are no abuses. We have not deviated from what is supposed to be done, and therefore that's why we are not worried. So
let's talk about human rights, because that is something that is of concern to many Ugandans. Of late, there's been stories awash in the media of abductions by drones. These vehicles, Toyota Hiace, that are commonly referred to as drones in Uganda. Have you heard about them, Honorable Minister?
Yes, I also see reports. First of all, as government, we do not condone illegal arrests and abductions, as you call them. If anybody is suspected to have committed a crime, security agencies, particularly police, should be able to come to you, identify themselves, and arrest you in accordance with the law. And once you are arrested, you are produced before courts and charged accordingly, and then you prove yourself innocent, or they convict you.
But
that's the official position.
Yes, yes. But
so
that's not happening on the
yes,
ground.
No, it does. It does. Police arrest the people. But if you are saying that there are categories of Ugandans who are being abducted, as you call it, then that is wrong, and we condemn it as government, because abduction is not a method that we approve of as government. So those concerns which are being raised, they are being investigated to know, do we have rogue elements within the security apparatus that are operating in breach of the law? Then if that's the case, then they will be brought to book. But as a government, we respect the rights of every Ugandan.
Honorable Chris, if one is presumed innocent until proven guilty by a court of law,
yes,
then why is this presumed innocent person being brought to court with a stripped back, beaten? And they tell the court that they've been beaten. This is happening here.
Yes, and we condemn that. We condemn that. If anybody is arrested, he or she should be treated humanely. And even if he has been convicted, you have no right to torture the person.
But torture is happening. Are you condemning, is your condemnation as government being heavy enough?
Yes, we condemn any acts of torture, whether they are done by security officials or civilians. We condemn in the strongest terms possible. And if there is any case where somebody has been tortured, and that person is brought to government, to police or the officials of government, then that person should be protected by government, and we should investigate. Nobody is above the law. And this is a warning to our security officers that they should do their work professionally. Even when you are extracting information from a suspect, torture is disallowed. You are not supposed to use torture as a way of getting information from a suspect or somebody you have arrested. In any case, if you use torture, then that evidence will be disallowable in court. You will be undermining your own case. So that one we condemn, and the government is investigating with a view of apprehending whoever could be responsible or whoever could be involved in torturing citizens of this country. But also, to an extent, at times the political players have just been hyping it. Are
you sure, Honorable Chris? I've seen videos of people being put into drones. I've seen videos. I've actually seen the Honorable Segedi Nyamuhammad when he was being picked from Chigo prison.
So don't you know where he is?
No, but he was picked in a drone.
Being put in a drone is not illegal. There is no law which says when you are arrested, you must be put in a Benz or in this kind of vehicle. A drone itself is not something illegal. I think what is wrong is just arresting somebody in a manner that contravenes the law, and also mishandling the person who has been arrested. I have been driven in a drone. So are you saying that it was wrong for me to drive in a drone? So the vehicle itself is not a problem. The problem is the person arresting, the manner in which the person is being arrested, and what do you do? Where do you take the person you have arrested? Otherwise, drones are innocent vehicles.
This government has come out on many occasions to deny that they are holding suspects in unauthorized places, which is unconstitutional. Is that still the case?
No. There are times when the government has accepted that there are safe houses.
So there are safe houses?
Where they hold people, especially for their security. But when somebody is arrested, he or she should be taken to a gazetted detention center, not in areas which are not known. And the government has explained that what you call safe houses are mainly used to give protection to some people whom probably may be in a position not to be taken to public. For instance,
Like
if
witness protection, is it? Witness protection, kind of like
yes,
that?
that kind of. Yes. Supposing somebody run away from a country X, which is neighboring us, and he is seeking protection, maybe he's a high-profile person, and you may not want to make him public. Such a person can be put in a safe house. So safe houses per se are not necessarily a negative thing, or do not mean a place where you go and torture a person. And the countries all over the world have these kind of facilities. But the major question should be, if there are situations where people are tortured by our own security officers, what mechanism do we have to punish whoever has done that? And that's why you should test us on whether we have a disciplinary machinery within security forces for an errant officer who has breached the code of conduct.
I know that it's there. I know that the disciplinary measure is there. It's in the UPDF Act, it's in the Constitution, it's in the Police Act. But is it working?
It is, I can assure you. There are many security officers in the military, in the police, who have been punished and disciplined when they deviate from what is supposed to be the normal and professional way of doing things.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rank Uganda's human rights record as a government right now?
I would rank it 8 out of 10. That's
Why?
80%. First of all, you look at the history of this country, where we have come from. There have been times when people would disappear and you never see them again. But I can assure you today, even when you say people are being taken into in drones, they are taken and eventually they are produced in the courts of law. What I can say is that the scrutiny is very high, and the public puts us to strong measures, strong standard of accountability, which is positive, and that's why we debate human rights issues. But you cannot say that the human rights record of this country is worsening. No.
What is that 20% that you've left out? Why is it at 100%?
The 20% is that we don't live in heaven. We live on earth. And on earth, we are not angels. The army is not constituted of angels. The police is not constituted of angels. So once in a while, you get cases where indisciplined government officers, security officers, may actually torture an individual. Like you saw that case of, is it called Kakwenza?
Yes.
Who displayed torture marks to the public.
Yes.
So it means somebody somewhere tortured him. And we are saying...
Have you investigated Kakwenza's issue?
Yes, investigations are going on. We are saying government condemns that kind of act. Government does not condone torturing anybody, irrespective of the offense you suspect somebody has committed. And therefore, when those cases occur, then our system investigates, and whoever is found culpable is punished in accordance with the law. So because we are human beings, there is that element of the 20%. But we have also seen torture occasioned by civilians. You see on social media footages where parents are torturing their children, and the civilians torturing civilians, simply because we are a human society where all these things happen. But us as a government is to struggle and make sure that the rights of every citizen and even visitors in the country are respected and guaranteed.
Whereas you are giving the government a very high ranking with regards to human rights, another thing that this government has never done is to transit from one president to the other. It has not happened inside the NRM and has not happened outside the NRM, which is the ruling party that you're also a member of. President General of the Democratic Party, Norbert Mao, joined government as a cabinet minister, and he said he is for a national dialogue to have that conversation. How is that going?
One, you should know that the constitution has been amended to lift term limits and to lift the presidential age limit. These have been lawfully done. The amendments have been lawfully done, meaning that a sitting president is not barred by law in terms of how many times he can contest. Yes, there are those...
Can be a life president. That's what we mean.
I don't know what life means, but of course those who are opposed to the regime are not comfortable with that one. But if Parliament has amended the Constitution as provided, then the assumption is that Ugandans have amended their Constitution.
Yes.
Now, the president, who has been leading us since 1986, subjects himself to the will of the people every 5 years. And nobody is barred from contesting for any position, from the president up to the nearest chairperson. The people who decide are Ugandans. Now, if they have decided to keep one president for some time, whom do you follow? Do you follow the president or you follow the people? Is there a problem? No. If you want to be president, you go and ask Ugandans to vote you.
Some people think it's very difficult for the Ugandans to vote you because the Ugandans are not voting. Ballots are being stuffed. There are allegations out there.
Then where do these opposition members of parliament come from? Where do these opposition district chairpersons come from? Councillors? How come that opposition members, opposition presidential candidates win in some districts overwhelmingly? How come, for instance, opposition swept more or less Buganda, the central region? How? Are you saying there was no government machinery to stop that? If you are saying government stops you, in my honest view, is that we have a democratic process which is functional, and people are able to decide on whom they want to lead them. And the President Yoweri Museveni remains in the chair because majority of Ugandans still love him, still want him to be the president.
But he won't be a president forever. You know that.
He's a human being, of course. Time will come. Time will come.
What time? When will that time be? Because I'm asking you as a member of the
Yes.
National Resistance, a senior member
Time
of the NRM.
will come when either the NRM party brings another flag bearer, another person, and I happen to sit on the top organ of the party,
Yes,
that decides on who contests for the president or under NRM. Time will come when maybe he himself will say, okay, I have given my best, I am stopping here, and then the NRM will bring another flag bearer. That time will come. He's a human being. He's not a robot, he's not a machine that he will be there for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. No. So people should relax. Because why the Constitution was changed was that let's give credibility and credence to Article 1 of the Constitution, which says power belongs to the people. So if power belongs to the people, let them be the ultimate decision makers on who should lead them, from the level of the president to the lowest person of LC1. Let's not tie people's will with restrictions in the law. That was the logic. If the person has been a president and people are happy with his leadership, they will vote him. If they are not happy with him, they will vote him out. You have seen the high attrition rate in parliament. Every end of term, we lose up to 70% of members of parliament, including those of the ruling party. Why? Because voters are able to say, you members of parliament, we voted you, you have represented us for 5 years, we are not satisfied with you, we are going to replace you with another person. So even the President Yoweri Museveni is put on a weighing scale every 5 years. And people say, has he performed to our satisfaction? And the majority have been saying yes. And they vote him. He does not impose himself on the Ugandans.
One camp, I don't know if they are NRM or otherwise, are already campaigning for 2026. And that is
campaigning for which
vote
position?
Muhoozi Kainerugaba for president. And that is out there on social media.
Well, because there is freedom in Uganda people say and do whatever they want. Even in our constituencies, people are saying, I want to be MP 2026, I want to be... First of all, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, he's a Ugandan like any other. In my view, being a son of the president should not in any way curtail your rights to aspire to be a leader at any level.
Son of the president, who is also a general of the
army.
army.
So, as a Ugandan, he should have the same rights that I have, that my brother has, somebody has. Being a son of the president should not in any way undermine your rights if you have ambitions. But two, he's a serving soldier,
yes,
and therefore he should not be involved in the partisan politicking as of now.
But he is.
Yes, and that's wrong. That's wrong. So those who are saying they want him to come 2026, they are wrong. The law does not allow campaigning as of now. And as a party, we shall restrain them.
Have you had that conversation at the highest level of the NRM?
Not yet, but we shall restrain them. And depending on whether he wants to start, I don't know, whether on NRM or independent. If it is NRM, the party where I am a leader, we have internal processes which we go through. We go through to finally agree on who a flag bearer is. And I can tell you that NRM as a party has very many competent people who can replace President Yoweri Museveni. But that time has not come. So let them reduce their excitement.
Let's talk about his recent tweets. Is Uganda still taken seriously on the international level?
Yes, we are.
But a general in this army, now general, spurred an international incident almost with Kenya.
General Muhoozi does not speak for the government of Uganda. The government of Uganda has people who speak for it. The president, the Minister of Information, the spokespersons of the various ministries and agencies, and therefore when he tweets as an individual.
But what I'm saying
is... Yes, hold on. He tweets as an individual, not on behalf of government or the institution where he serves. So probably we have to clarify that point to the international community of the countries where... But it's also wrong, and he should be restrained.
Have you as a government failed to rein in on this tweeting general?
No, I mean...
Because you almost declared war on our neighbor on Twitter.
No. I don't know what motivates him to make those tweets. You know, Twitter and social media is something new. So sometimes it causes excitement among some people. People sleep on phones, tweeting and WhatsApping the whole night. But they are uncalled for, and the system will restrain him from doing, because they have security, diplomatic, and communication implications, and it was not correct, for instance, for him to start saying he can overrun in Nairobi. He may have tweeted, in my view, maybe just joking, making jokes. But yes, there are positions which you hold in society, in government, which should make you not joke, especially when you communicate at that level, and the issues which can bring conflicts between countries. But it is being handled.
What does it say about the NRM, this government that has kept a country that was unstable before 1986, stable for over 36 years now, to have such a person that you're saying is tweeting recklessly as one of the people that are being looked at as the next president of this country from the same party, the NRM?
No. NRM is not looking at him as the next president, I have said. There could be enthusiasts who support him, no problem. But like I've said, NRM has a process. And NRM, you have not heard NRM say, we are bringing you Muhoozi Kainerugaba. No. It is his supporters, the young people and so forth. But when time comes, NRM has a constitution which guides it. So please don't mix NRM as a party with what Muhoozi Kainerugaba is doing. It is a whole world of difference between what he's doing and what NRM does.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, the Minister of Information, Communications Technology and National Guidance of Uganda. That's the Hard Questions. My name is Daniel Lutaya.